Listen closely. That voice inside your head, the one whispering doubt, the one saying you're not good enough, or this is impossible, or maybe you'll never achieve that. We all hear it. Every single person walking this earth faces these shadows, these creeping thoughts of negativity. They try to build walls around your potential. They try to convince you to stay small. They try to steal your ambition. But I am here today to tell you a fundamental truth. A truth that holds the key to unlocking everything you desire. You have the power to choose, the power to select the thoughts that occupy your mind. Think of your mind as fertile ground, a garden waiting for seeds. Whatever you plant there, it will grow, without question, without judgment. Plant seeds of doubt, and doubt is what you will harvest. Plant seeds of fear, and fear will dominate your landscape. Plant seeds of I can't, and limitations will become your reality. But what if you chose differently? What if you consciously, deliberately planted seeds of confidence, seeds of unwavering belief in yourself, seeds of resilience in the face of challenges, seeds of absolute certainty in your success? That is what will flourish. That is what your life will begin to mirror. The power is entirely, unequivocally in your hands. Most people drift through life. They allow these negative thoughts to run wild, like weeds choking out the flowers. They let doubt dictate their actions, or rather their inaction. They let fear paralyze them. They let "I'll never make it" become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you don't have to live that way. You can break free from this mental prison. You can rise above the noise. You can seize the reins of your own mind. You can begin right now to cultivate thoughts that serve you. Thoughts that empower you. Thoughts that drive you forward. Thoughts that build rather than destroy. This isn't just another feel-good talk. This is a call to arms. A challenge to revolutionize your inner world. Because when you change your thoughts, you change your reality. I will guide you. I will show you the practical steps. How to dismantle the fortress of negativity. How to build an unshakable mindset. A mindset geared for action. A mindset that refuses to quit. A mindset destined for achievement. Stop letting doubt write your story. Stop allowing fear to choose your path. Your life doesn't improve by accident. It improves by deliberate, conscious change. And that change begins right here, right now, in your mind. Stay with me. Learn how to command your thinking, reclaim your mental territory, and start achieving results you previously only dreamed of. Let's begin the transformation. Let's dismantle negative thinking piece by piece. Let's build the future you deserve. Here is the first principle you must master. Make self-improvement your daily ritual, not a hobby, not an occasional task, a daily non-negotiable practice. Why? Because if you do not take deliberate control of your mind, life will. The world will flood it with its own messages, and let me assure you, the world is often indifferent to your dreams. Circumstances don't care about your potential. Setbacks don't care about your aspirations. If you leave your mind untended, life will plant its own seeds. Seeds of doubt after one mistake. Seeds of fear after one failure. Seeds of inadequacy after one criticism. One negative experience can convince you you're incapable. One setback can make you believe you're destined to fail. This is how negativity entrenches itself. It slips in subtly when your guard is down. And if you do nothing, it doesn't just remain static. It grows, it festers, it multiplies. It begins to color every thought. It shapes every decision. It directs every action. Soon, you find yourself trapped, living the same unsatisfactory day over and over, wondering why success remains elusive, wondering why happiness feels distant, wondering why change never comes. But understand this clearly. Your mind is not the enemy. The problem isn't the mind itself. The problem is the lack of training. You haven't conditioned it to work for you. You've allowed it, by default, to work against you. To defeat negative thinking, you must commit. Commit to the daily practice of self-improvement, every single day. No exceptions, no excuses. Think of your mind like a muscle. What happens to a muscle you never use? It becomes weak, flabby, ineffective. A neglected mind becomes lazy, and a lazy mind inevitably defaults to the path of least resistance, which is almost always negativity, fear, doubt, worry. It's easier to worry than to believe. It's easier to doubt than to have faith. It's easier to complain than to create. That's why passive hope is useless. You can't just wish for positive thinking. You can't wait for inspiration to strike. It doesn't operate that way. You must actively program your mind. You must intentionally build the habit of feeding it strength, the habit of feeding it positivity, the habit of feeding it empowering ideas, day in, day out. Some will say, that sounds like too much work. I don't have the time. Really? Do you have time to endlessly scroll through meaningless content? Do you have time to worry obsessively about outcomes you can't control? Do you have time to engage in conversations that drain your energy? Do you have time to listen to cynics and complainers? Of course you do. We all make time for what we deem important. It's never about a lack of time. It's always about a lack of priority. If you don't prioritize your own mental growth, who will? No one is coming to rescue your mindset. No magic pill will fix your thinking. That responsibility rests solely on your shoulders. It is your duty, your task, your privilege. So, where does this daily practice begin? It begins with awareness. Pay meticulous attention to what you allow into your mind. Most people are sleepwalking through a barrage of negativity, the constant stream of bad news, the curated envy on social media, the toxic interactions with negative people. These inputs are shaping your inner world, often without your consent. And if you're not vigilant, they will dictate the course of your life. The very first step is to become a guardian. Guard the gateway to your mind fiercely. Guard it as if your entire future hangs in the balance. Because in truth, it does. Stop starting your day with digital noise. Stop letting the world's chaos be the first thing you consume. Instead, begin with intention. Begin with something that fortifies you. Read 10 pages from a book that inspires growth. Listen to an audio program that elevates your thinking. Write down your definite chief aim, your major goals. Visualize your success clearly, vividly. Practice affirmations that align with who you want to become. Do something, anything, that strengthens your mental resolve. Do this before the distractions and negativity of the day can take hold, and crucially, do it consistently. Every single day. This is the power of accumulation. Reading 10 pages today seems insignificant, but do it daily for a year. That's over 3,600 pages. That's a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration. That's the difference between stagnation and transformation, between being stuck and breaking through. But consumption alone is insufficient. Knowledge without application is merely stored potential. It's useless. Many people fall into the trap of endless learning. They attend seminars, watch videos, read books, but they never bridge the gap between knowing and doing. That's not self-improvement. It's intellectual entertainment. It's procrastination cleverly disguised as progress. True growth ignites when knowledge meets action. When you learn something empowering, don't just admire it. Don't just say, "That's interesting." Ask yourself immediately, how can I apply this principle today? What specific action can I take right now based on this idea? And then, critically, take that action, no matter how small. Integrate the learning into your behavior. When you commit to this daily cycle, learn, apply, repeat, something profound occurs. Negative thoughts begin to lose their grip. Their power diminishes. Their frequency lessens. You naturally start shifting your focus from dwelling on problems to actively seeking solutions, from paralyzing overthinking to decisive action, from manufacturing excuses to identifying opportunities. Why does this happen? Because a mind consistently trained for growth refuses to settle. It refuses to accept negativity as the status quo. It develops an appetite for progress. It starts demanding more of itself, and consequently, more from life. But heed this warning. This is not a cure-all achieved overnight. You don't simply declare, "I'm done with negative thinking," and it vanishes forever. That's wishful thinking. Negative thoughts are persistent. They are insidious. Fear will always test your resolve. Doubt will always whisper temptations to quit. Old habits will always try to resurface. This is precisely why self-improvement must be a daily battle, a daily recommitment, a daily reinforcement. It's your ongoing defense mechanism. It's how you maintain control over your inner state. It's how you ensure you remain the master of your mind. What if you slip up? What if you miss a day? Listen carefully. One missed day doesn't define you. Perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. The danger lies not in the single stumble, but in allowing that stumble to become a new pattern. Allowing one missed day to turn into 2, then a week, then a month. That's the path back to mediocrity. It's not about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time without fail. Dust yourself off, reaffirm your commitment, and resume your practice immediately. Understand this critical point. Self-improvement isn't reserved for easy times. It's not something you do only when you feel motivated. It's the very discipline that carries you through the hard times. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when storms hit. It's the inner strength you cultivate so that life's inevitable challenges don't break you. You practice daily to ensure that no setback, no failure, no disappointment, no criticism can permanently derail you. You practice daily to ensure you never revert to the weaker version of yourself. Once you truly commit to this path of daily growth, there's no turning back willingly. Your perspective shifts, your standards rise. You begin to see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a creator of your destiny. You start expecting more from yourself. And when you consistently expect more and back it with action, life has a way of meeting those expectations. But it all hinges on that initial unwavering decision. The decision to stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. The decision to abandon all excuses. The decision to take ownership of your mental landscape. The decision to engage in self-improvement every single day without fail. The moment you make that definite decision, you reclaim your inherent power. The moment you commit, negative thinking begins its retreat. The moment you act, your entire life trajectory begins to shift. Take control. Start today. Practice daily. Now, let's address the anchor holding so many people back. The past. Principle number 2. Detach from past failures and regrets. Your history does not dictate your destiny unless you grant it permission to do so. Far too many individuals walk through the present burdened by yesterday. They carry the weight of past mistakes, old failures, lingering regrets. Like heavy chains shackled to their potential, they feel stuck, trapped, unable to move forward. They wonder why progress seems impossible, why they repeat the same patterns, why success feels perpetually out of reach. Here is the unvarnished truth. It is not your past itself that holds you captive. It is your persistent attachment to it. It is your refusal to release its grip. It is your conscious or unconscious decision to keep reliving what is over. to keep pouring energy into events that cannot be changed. You cannot alter what has already transpired. No amount of rumination will change the facts. No amount of self-flagellation will undo a mistake. No amount of regret will rewrite history. It is done, finished, complete. You cannot travel back in time, but you absolutely can move forward. And that forward movement is where all your power resides. The instant you stop mentally replaying failures, the instant you cease feeding regrets with your precious attention, that is the instant you reclaim your present moment. That is the instant you truly begin living again. That is the instant you position yourself for future wins. I hear the objections already, but the mistakes were significant. But I wasted so much time and opportunity. But I caused harm, or I failed at something truly important. Yes, that may all be accurate, but ask yourself honestly, does clinging to the guilt fix anything? Does drowning in shame make you stronger? Does wallowing in disappointment propel you forward? Does spending another precious day, week, or year dragging those memories behind you serve any constructive purpose? No. Emphatically no. It only steals more of your valuable time. It only drains more of your vital energy. It only keeps you imprisoned in a past you can no longer influence. You must fundamentally shift your perspective on failure. Failure is not fatal. Mistakes are not terminal. They are feedback. They are lessons. They are tuition paid in the school of experience. It is not the falling down that matters most. It is the getting back up. It is what you do after the failure that defines your character and shapes your future. Every single person you admire, every individual who has achieved notable success, every titan of industry, every great leader, every accomplished artist has faced failure, often, repeatedly, often spectacularly. The crucial difference lies not in the absence of failure, but in their response to it. They didn't allow failure to become their identity. They extracted the lesson. They adjusted their approach. They course-corrected. And they moved forward, relentlessly. That is the blueprint you must follow. There are people who allow a single past event, sometimes decades old, to define their entire existence. They build their identity around their lowest moments. They constantly tell themselves, I failed then, so I am a failure now. I'm not capable because I didn't succeed before. They surrender their future because they remain chained to their past. But listen carefully. Your past is a source of data, not a declaration of identity. It offers lessons, not life sentences. The only power your past wields over your present is the power you consciously or unconsciously give it. And how do most people empower their past? By constantly revisiting it in their minds, by replaying painful scenes over and over, by talking about old grievances as if they happened yesterday, by feeding those memories with emotional energy, by allowing them to dictate present beliefs and future actions. Stop doing this to yourself. It is self-sabotage. Stop picking at old wounds that deserve to heal. Stop resurrecting ghosts that should remain buried. Stop giving relevance to things that are no longer part of the person you are striving to become. If you failed before, acknowledge it. Yes. But then reframe it. Good. That means I took action. That means I dared to try. That means I was in the arena, not sitting safely on the sidelines. Failure is evidence of effort. It is a prerequisite for significant success. And if you persist, if you learn, if you keep moving forward with renewed determination, success is inevitable. But only if you release the dead weight of past defeats. Consider this analogy. Imagine driving a car. Would you navigate effectively by constantly staring into the rearview mirror? Of course not. You would inevitably crash. Yet, This is precisely how many people attempt to navigate their lives. Their focus is fixed on what's behind them. The mistakes, the regrets, the missed opportunities. They neglect the vast road stretching out before them. And then they are bewildered when they fail to make progress. If you desire genuine change, you must make a conscious shift. You must begin acting as if your future holds more importance than your past. Because it unequivocally does. What lies ahead, the potential, the possibilities, the opportunities, is infinitely more significant than what lies behind. The only value your past holds is in the lessons it provides. Extract the wisdom, identify the insights, understand what needs to change. That's it. Leave the pain behind. Leave the regret behind. Leave the shame behind. Take only the lesson and discard the rest. I understand this isn't always easy. I know past traumas and deep regrets can feel like they have an inescapable grip, but recognize that feeling for what it is, an illusion sustained by your own thought patterns. The only chains binding you to your past are forged in your own mind. And the good news? You hold the key. You can change your thoughts. You can consciously train your mind to release the past. Every time an old failure surfaces in your thoughts, interrupt the pattern. Stop it in its tracks. Acknowledge it briefly, then pivot. Shift your focus deliberately to your present actions and future goals. Every time regret whispers in your ear, counter it. Remind yourself forcefully, I am not that person anymore. I have learned. I am moving forward. Every time doubt, fueled by past experience, tries to undermine your confidence, stand firm. Affirm your commitment. My past does not equal my future. I am creating a new reality. Nothing will stop me. You owe it to your future self. You owe it to the potential residing within you. Give the energy you've been squandering on yesterday to the creation of tomorrow. Stop gazing backward. Fix your eyes firmly on the horizon ahead. Make the decision, here and now, to finally, irrevocably detach. Detach from every mistake, every failure, every regret that has been weighing you down. The moment you truly let go, you will experience an incredible sense of liberation, a lightness, a surge of renewed strength. You will realize, perhaps for the first time, that the only real barrier was never the past itself, but your belief that you were powerless to move beyond it. Now you know the truth. Now you understand. The past only has the power you grant it, and starting today, you are revoking its access. You are taking your power back. Let's tackle another major source of negativity and self-doubt. Principle number 3, stop comparing yourself to others. There is arguably no quicker, more effective way to sabotage your own confidence, to extinguish your motivation, to rob yourself of present joy, than the destructive habit of comparison. Yet, it's rampant, epidemic even. People wake up, and their first instinct is to measure their lives against others. They scroll through curated images of success. They read about others' achievements. They observe someone else's apparent ease. And immediately the inner critic goes to work. I'm not doing enough. I'm falling behind. Look how much better they are. I'll never reach that level. They convince themselves they are inadequate, lacking, failing. Let me state this with absolute clarity. The only valid comparison you should ever make is you today versus you yesterday. That is the only benchmark that matters. That is the only race you need to run. Why? Because the fundamental truth is this: no two human journeys are identical. No two individuals start at the same point. No two people possess the exact same talents, resources, or circumstances. No two people face the exact same set of challenges or obstacles. Comparing your unique path to someone else's is like comparing apples and oranges. illogical, and ultimately meaningless. Yet, people persist in this flawed practice. They measure their chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 20. They gauge their behind-the-scenes struggle against someone else's highlight reel. And in doing so, they inevitably set themselves up for feelings of frustration, envy, and inadequacy. They invite misery into their minds. You must break this habit. You must cultivate the discipline to stay focused on your own lane, your own progress, your own path. Because when you engage in comparison, you're not even dealing with reality. You're comparing your whole truth, your struggles, doubts, fears, insecurities, unseen efforts to a carefully curated, often incomplete, public image. You see the person celebrating a win, but you don't see the years of relentless effort, the setbacks, the sacrifices that preceded it. You see the person exuding confidence, but you don't see the private battles with self-doubt they overcame. You see the apparent overnight success, but you don't see the decade of quiet, persistent work that laid the foundation. And then you look at your own messy, imperfect reality, your current challenges, your moments of uncertainty, your slow progress, and you unfairly conclude that you are somehow less than, deficient, not good enough. But you are not less than. You are simply on your journey, at your current stage. Think about planting a seed. Do you hover over the soil impatiently the next day, demanding why it isn't a towering tree? No. You understand the natural process. You know that growth takes time. You know that much of the crucial development happens unseen beneath the surface. You trust the process, provide the right conditions, and wait patiently for the results to manifest. Yet, when it comes to our own lives and goals, we often abandon this wisdom. We look at someone else who is already in full bloom, their tree bearing fruit, and we become discouraged about our own small sprout. We get frustrated with our own pace of growth. We forget that our time will come, provided we remain committed, provided we keep tending our own garden, provided we keep watering our own seeds, provided we keep putting in the necessary work. The insidious danger of comparison is that it breeds discontent. It makes your own efforts feel insignificant. It whispers doubts. Is what I'm doing even working? Am I wasting my time? It tempts you to rush your own process, trying to catch up to an arbitrary timeline set by someone else's life. And rushing leads to errors. Rushing compromises quality. Rushing erodes focus. Rushing destroys the patience required for sustainable growth. This is how many potentially successful people quit prematurely. Not because they lacked ability, not because their goal was unattainable, but because they allowed comparison to convince them they weren't progressing fast enough. They bought into the illusion that they should be further along. You must train your mind consciously and repeatedly to stay focused inward, to remain firmly planted in your own lane. Remind yourself daily, hourly, if necessary. My path is unique. My timeline is my own. My journey doesn't need to mirror anyone else's. Some people achieve success rapidly. Others build slowly and steadily. Some face immense initial hurdles, then experience explosive growth. Some seem to have advantages from the start. Others must carve out every opportunity through sheer grit. Ultimately, these external variations are irrelevant to your own potential. The only factors determining your destination are internal: your own unwavering purpose, your own consistent effort, your own mental discipline, your own refusal to quit. Instead of looking outward with envy or frustration, look inward and backward. Compare yourself today to yourself last week, last month, last year. That's the meaningful metric. Are you learning more? Are you taking more consistent action? Are you becoming more resilient? Are you developing better habits? Are you moving closer to your defined goals? If the answer is yes, even if progress feels slow, then you are succeeding. You are on the right track. Celebrate that growth. If the answer is no, then it's time for introspection and adjustment. Not because someone else is supposedly ahead, but because you owe it to your own potential to demand more from yourself, to step up your game, to recommit to your principles. Stop defining your success by the perceived achievements of others. Stop feeling inadequate because someone else's journey looks different or seems faster. Stop letting the success of others diminish your own sense of worth or progress. Their win is not your loss. Their speed does not invalidate your pace. You're not failing simply because someone else appears to be succeeding more visibly or quickly. You are on your timeline. Your sole responsibility is to keep showing up, keep learning, keep growing, keep applying effort, keep improving, and trust. Develop unwavering faith that as long as you remain committed to your process, you are exactly where you need to be on your path to achievement. There will always be someone who seems further along. There will always be someone whose success appears easier or faster. There will always be someone seemingly doing better. Let that be irrelevant noise. It does not signify that you are losing. It does not mean you are inadequate. It absolutely does not mean you should doubt your own capacity or your own path. It simply means their journey is different. And that is perfectly okay. Because true, lasting success isn't about outperforming others. It's not about winning a race against anyone else. It's about becoming the absolute best possible version of yourself. It's about fulfilling your own unique potential. When you deeply internalize this truth, the compulsion to compare will wither away. You will cease wasting precious mental energy looking sideways. You will instead channel all that energy forward, focusing intently on what truly matters: your own growth, your own actions, your own definite purpose, your own journey. Finally, let's discuss the catalyst that transforms intention into reality. Principle number 4. Make a definite decision and stand by it. There arrives a point in every significant endeavor, every pursuit of a worthy goal, where a decision must be made. Not a vague wish, not a hopeful thought, not a maybe someday intention, but a clear, firm, unequivocal decision. A decision that resonates with conviction. A decision that declares, this is my aim, this is what I will achieve, I am fully committed, there is no turning back. The moment you make such a decision, a definite decision, the entire universe seems to conspire to assist you. Forces align, opportunities appear, your own inner resources mobilize. The fundamental problem holding most people back is their chronic indecision. They linger in the realm of maybe. They hesitate, they equivocate, they second guess. They tell themselves, I'll start when, or I need to wait until. They postpone commitment, waiting for a mythical right time or perfect conditions that never materialize. Why? Because they haven't truly decided. They haven't drawn a line in the sand. They haven't committed with the finality that says, come what may, obstacles, setbacks, delays, I am seeing this through to completion. If you genuinely desire transformation in any area of your life, if you are serious about achieving substantial success, if you want to break free from stagnation and move decisively forward, then you must harness the immense power of definite decision. And equally important, you must cultivate the tenacity to stand by that decision. Not just for a fleeting week when motivation is high, not just for a month until the first major obstacle appears, but with unwavering resolve until the desired result is firmly in your grasp. This quality, definiteness of decision backed by persistence, is the great separator. It distinguishes those who achieve their ambitions from those who merely dream about them. The winners in life are those who decide clearly, firmly, and once decided, they burn the bridges behind them. They eliminate all possibility of retreat. They don't waste time entertaining doubts about their choice. They don't dissipate energy wondering if they should have chosen differently. They pour all their focus, all their resources, all their mental energy into making the decision work, into moving forward relentlessly towards the objective. Indecision is the enemy of progress. It breeds doubt, fear, and procrastination. It keeps you stuck in limbo, pulled in multiple directions, achieving nothing significant. A definite decision, on the other hand, is like a powerful electromagnet. It focuses your energy. It attracts the necessary resources. It clarifies your path. It simplifies your actions. When you truly decide, you stop considering alternatives. You stop looking for escape routes. Your mind becomes laser-focused on finding ways to succeed rather than contemplating reasons why you might fail. This shift in mental orientation is profound. It unlocks creativity. It fuels determination. It builds momentum. Think about any major achievement in history, personal or collective. Behind it, you will always find a definite decision made by one or more individuals who refused to be swayed from their purpose. They decided what they wanted, and they held that vision steadfastly, overcoming every obstacle that arose. You must cultivate this same quality within yourself. When you set a goal, make a decision to achieve it. Don't just try. Don't just hope. Decide. And once you've decided, commit to it fully. Mentally cut off all other possibilities that conflict with your decision. Act as if failure is not an option. This doesn't mean you won't face difficulties. You will. It doesn't mean you won't need to adjust your plans. You might. But the underlying decision to reach the destination remains unshaken. You stand by it. You defend it against doubt, against fear, against criticism, against temporary setbacks. You persist. You endure. You keep moving forward. This is the essence of Napoleon Hill's concept of definiteness of purpose, backed by unwavering faith and persistence. It starts with the decision, a clear mental picture of what you intend to achieve, followed by the burning desire to achieve it, followed by the faith that you can achieve it, followed by a concrete plan of action, followed by persistent action on that plan, adjusting as needed, and crucially, shielding your mind from all negative influences, especially the internal ones of doubt and fear that arise from indecision. Make your decision. Make it definite. Then throw your whole weight behind it. Act with boldness. Act with certainty. Act with persistence. Stand by your decision as if your life depends on it. Because in many ways, the quality of your life does depend on your ability to make and hold definite decisions. Stop lingering in the valley of maybe. Ascend to the peak of decision. Commit. Act. Persist. This is the pathway to power. This is the key to unlocking your potential. This is how you take control and shape your own destiny. Decide now. Stand firm and watch your world begin to change.